Okay, we're live. So Josh, I asked if we could stay after for just a little bit here to reflect a little bit on the last 4 months or so that we've had together. Um, I know that I had initially asked you if you would just be willing to like help me kind of talk through some of the um, kind of broader topics to help me prepare for the county commissioner race, but I'm curious what has stuck out to you from the last couple of months as we've been talking through this stuff. What yeah, what's on your mind?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think I can start from a high level, right? I am not an expert, but I know way more about Cowlitz County than I have walking into this. And I think, a couple of things that stuck out to me is just how diverse and the makeup of Cowlitz County
Mm-hmm.
is, how rich the history is, and how the county has been shaped, and um, the significant events that the county has gone through and been able to get through and still come back together as a community. Mount St. Helens, right? Like talk
Right.
about that. So one that, but then on the flip side, I mean, having some of the largest ports in the entire country centered in Cowlitz County, right, and
Mm-hmm.
going from this diverse ecosystem of large cities like Longview and out to, you know, uh, small towns, if you would even call that, like Tootle, right? Like
Right.
just kind of, I don't mean this in the bad way. I love it because I'm a small town kid, but like the Boons, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
love the Boons. So I apologize. I don't mean any offense by saying words like that.
No, I think you're doing good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean like so when I had set out on this, I did so with the recognition that this was a learning experience, right? Part of the reason that I wanted to do this live stream series is because it gave me an environment where I could research and then share information, right? But two,
Mhm.
it gave me a drive to just go dig into stuff. We spent the first couple of weeks talking through my personal history, which frankly
Yep.
didn't require a whole lot of preparation for me. I just kind of got to talk through some of the things I thought were interesting. But as we got into each of these unique topics, um, I found it like a really worthy challenge to try to summarize these different aspects of Cowlitz County and reflect them back out. Um, I'll just go through quickly like the kind of the stuff that we went through. So we talked for the first couple of weeks about like the general government system and the theory of freedom and liberty. We talked about housing, health, the economy, and how we can support families. We talked about public safety, the supply chain and food systems, education, and we spent a lot of time, I think, going through all these different elements of Cowlitz County as a way of learning
Mhm.
about who we are. At this point, I now have a collection of, I think it's going to be a total of like 24 hours of content related to Cowlitz County in some form, and that is just incredible to me.
Mhm.
That we have kind of amassed this knowledge of who Cowlitz County is, what Cowlitz County is. Um, so yeah, I mean that kind of stuff I think is the exact thing that I hoped to get out of this whole endeavor. And now I'm coming into I don't know if we've talked about the timeline for this, but filing week is tomorrow. So tomorrow and through the 10th, we have to put our names in the hat and say, hey, we're running for this position. So this is kind of me wrapping up that preparation prior to the actual like political season. Um, so yeah, I mean, I've learned a lot, if for no other reason than that I had to learn a lot in order to be prepared to come and answer the questions that you had for me related to
Yeah.
this. So
Well,
um,
and I think with that, Joe, too, is so one, my first pillar was just again the rich history and how much I've learned about Cowlitz County, and quite frankly, like how cool it is,
yeah,
right? Like there's so much going on in this little part of Washington State. And then I think the second thing that I've wanted to reflect on here is, with all of the diversity of the topics that we've covered and everything that we've run through, really put you through the gauntlet. Like, I've just been amazed with your ability to come back to your four core values,
Mm.
right? Like free choice with care, growing by supporting, community-led solutions, outcome-focused government. If we rewind the tape, which we can because we have it, right? Your ability to break down each segment and really focus on that, but more importantly, like the community-led solutions, your ability to cliche put yourself in other people's shoes,
Mm.
and not just because you need to, but because you want to, right? And I think that's so important, and something that I personally have not seen from any local, state, federal, you name it, any politician out there, anybody that's really trying to get involved in government. And I think you come from it with a really big heart and a place of wanting to do a lot of good. And I see that week over week over week, no matter what topic, no matter how controversial, no matter how heavy it can be, you approach it with a good heart and a logical brain. And I think that's really critical. And
I
unfortunately,
appreciate that.
we don't see enough. So,
Thank you, my friend.
yeah,
You know
of
that
course.
that's an element that has it's been hard for me to kind of balance between those two things. Um, One of the things I hope people glean, like I can't imagine that there's anybody who's going to go and watch through every single one of these videos, but if you have up to this point, you probably have a good sense of who I believe myself to be, and I try as hard as I can to let the person I am be the person that I believe myself to be. Um, I'm reading this book right now by Jean-Paul Sartre called Existentialism and Human Emotion. And one of the things he talks about in this book is uh, who we want ourselves to be is who we wish others were. Um, and, you know, for me, I think I recognize the deep responsibility that comes with being a leader. I have a lot of room to grow. There's a lot of things about myself that I wish weren't. There's a lot of things that I wish I could improve and be better at. But I think it's really important stepping into an environment like this one, into a political environment, that I can be authentic. Going all the way back to the beginning, one of our first conversations was why I'm running as an independent. And it's for that reason, because I feel that unless I am detached from a particular group, I will not necessarily be able to serve the community as best I can. Um, and I want to be able to serve this community so much so that I would just rather not have that association, because it to me runs the risk of closing me off from perspectives that might matter and that might be valuable. Um, so I think through all of this, like the goal of it was to amass this set of information so that we could pull from it. And I've learned a lot. Again, like I said, I've learned a lot in part from being required to come and talk about it. Um, but my goal from here is to take this information and run with it, to go talk to people about it, to help them understand, you know, how does local politics impact our personal lives? How should it? What are some ways that we might be surprised by, you know? And I want to thank you as well, Josh, for your willingness to be involved in all of this. I know that you know, giving up your Sunday mornings for the last couple of months. I know you said you're happy to do it, but at the same time, like it is really valuable and really important that we've had this time. I am incredibly grateful for you and for your willingness to work with me as we figured out kind of the best format for all this to work in. And um, you know, it's been such an incredible opportunity to like work together to flesh out all of these concepts. Um, so thank you, buddy. I
Hey,
sincerely
hey,
appreciate you.
yeah, nobody I would have rather done it for or with, my friend. So I appreciate you too. And honestly, Joe, like I've learned so much about a good friend of mine, about Cowlitz County, about politics, around just you name it. So honestly, the thanks goes out to you. Although it was a Sunday, I'm a learner. I love to learn, and
Mm,
every Sunday I've learned a lot from you. So I appreciate it.
thank you, friend.
Of
Cool.
course.
Any final thoughts before we close out 4 months of work?
Joe Zickerman for Cowlitz County County Commissioner. Go do it. Cast your vote. Get involved. But most importantly, just dig through some of this content. And I would say my call out is, for the folks listening out there, find a way to get involved in some of these great organizations and some of the great community aspects that Joe has called out. I know since starting this with Joe, I have been finding ways to get involved in my own local community, and I find it to be an inspiration. So no matter what the outcome is, please don't lose those call to actions. Go get involved. Go make Cowlitz County a better place and a county that you folks want to see. And thank you to Joe for calling attention to all the wonderful organizations and people that are trying to do that.
Thank you, my friend.
Yeah,
thank you
of
so
course.
much.